Check, check, sound check. How are you, people? Let me text a couple of my mods and see if Anna Bees is still awake. And let's see. It is Ash Wednesday. Why am I afraid I'm going to lose my live stream? I sure hope not. I hope I don't have any problems today because I've had a lot of technical problems already. I've been trying to get on for over an hour. As you can see, I have a filter that is to try to take the glare off of my glasses, but then it like cuts out part of the screen, which is fine. I just want to get feedback on the filter. Also, just making some other adjustments in the studio. And, you know, one thing, it's like the domino effect. So, you know, I switched some things up and feedback is always good. I have a lot to talk about. I have a very busy day, so I thought I better go on early, even though I know it's not very conducive to having my visitors, which are my favorite part of the live. But I wanted to come on and talk about this thought that I had yesterday, which is there's been a lot of speculation about Ghislaine and her performance a week and 2 days ago. On Monday last week in her deposition. Was that really her? It doesn't look like her. People do look very different from time to time, whether they're in prison or not, but especially when they're in prison. And everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start that conversation, open up a discussion, learn something, be educational. All my videos are made for the tube of you and me, and it's an infotainment platform. Please hit your like button. And I don't even have it where you can see it, where it says, make sure you're still subscribed, share a video of mine with somebody that you think might like my channel. How did that get out of screen? Because it was on screen. There we go. Da-da-da-dun. Let's keep going there. Just to remind everybody, turn on your notification bell to ring. And I think that's about it. There. So what if she was taken out and replaced because she had been threatening to spill the tea, and she did, in fact, I believe completely 100% that it was her that orchestrated releasing that birthday note, you know, the drawing. I've never written a drawing. OMG, like how many weird things come out of this man's mouth that is still for some bizarre effed up reason are sitting El Presidente. But essentially she was blackmailing from behind bars. And so when she met with Todd Blanche and he got the full lowdown with her, which that was all behind closed doors. I mean, we've heard audio, but I'm sure we haven't heard all of it. And we haven't seen video of it. And maybe there's a reason that we haven't seen video of it is because she looks so drastically different after they replaced her with somebody new. So what better orchestration than to move her to a different facility where none of the staff at the old facility is going to have this new replacement in person to go, wait, what? I don't think so. And the new facility isn't going to have the old one, the real one, in person to compare the one that they are housing. It makes sense. You don't get to throw your weight around and act like you own all these billionaires when A, you're just a chick, and B, you're just a millionaire, right? I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. So when I thought of this yesterday, I was like, how did I never think of this? And how did none of us ever think of this? But my answer for that, for myself, hey, Billy, darling, OMG, you're the bomb, girlfriend. Thank you so much for coming in. Did you hear what I was saying? I think that they offed jizz and put a new one in. Maybe potentially, in my humble conspiracy theory, allegedly. Doing it right when they made the prison transfer could have been the whole reason that they did the prison transfer, because that biatch was all kinds of demanding. You better give me a pardon. You better, what's the other word? The clemency. Give me clemency. Give me a pardon. You know, it's funny because I know some of how you use these terms, and like exonerate. The only way you can be exonerated from something, in my understanding, is that first you must be convicted of it. Is that your understanding, Billy? Different eyes, chin, eyebrow. But wouldn't it make sense that after she met with Todd Blanche, when she was like throwing her weight around and being all, think she's all that in a bag of chips, saying, I got Donnie by the balls and I got all these billionaires by the balls, and you better give me what I want or I'm spilling it. So they're like, sure, jizz, whatever you want. You're the queen. We will bow down. We'll do whatever you say. And then they tell the prison that they're giving her a transfer. Then during that transfer process, they just, slip her a little cyanide and get their stand-in to go to the new prison. Wouldn't that make perfect sense? Yeah, they did the switch then, but why not just rub her out, because she's such a rat? Like, she's telling them she's gonna snitch, and she did snitch, like with the birthday letter. And we all know snitches get stitches, baby. You can't roll like that. It's not like she's Jeffrey Epstein or something. Oh, and happy Ash Wednesday, and happy day that Les Wex is supposedly getting deposed. Do you think that's actually happening? And how are you, my dear? How are you? Well, see, I'm thinking they might have already offed her. I know, I've thought that all along, is like she's on thin ice. Like, she better watch it or they'll do it. And then yesterday I thought they probably already did. They were probably so sick of her demanding clemency, demanding a pardon. She was pestering Donnie. And you don't pester Donnie. He's the sex pest who pests everybody. But she wouldn't stop trying to contact him and saying, like, I need to talk to you. And he's just like, I don't got time for you. I don't care. Here's a quarter. Call someone who cares. They'll plead the fifth. Maybe offed at the switch. She's safer in prison, maybe. Well, of course she was safer in prison, but she's so far ahead of her skis, or she was so far ahead of her skis, that she might have just stepped on her dick that she don't have. Just saying. Damn. So, and let me just say, we know that we don't think we're right about things, right? Like, we hypothesize and think maybe this, maybe that. That's the whole point of the YouTube, in my opinion. That's what I'm here for, is to explore different options. And sometimes, I mean, in my estimation, a lot of the time I'm right. A lot of the time. Otherwise, I wouldn't waste my time or anybody else's sharing my ridiculous ideas. Sometimes I'm dead wrong. A lot of times I hope that I'm dead wrong. And I've been proven dead wrong with something that I was hoping that I was going to be wrong about, and I didn't think in a million years I could have been. And that's the release of the Trumpstein files. I thought, and I had said multiple times, there's no way in hell we're ever going to see any of them. And now look at what we've seen. And I think it was just today that it was announced that no more. That's it. That's all you're getting. We're cutting you off. That Donnie and his DOJ are just like, put a freeze on it, put a lid on it, because they've already released too much. I think it was just yesterday that the authorities in New Mexico announced that they're searching Zorro Ranch. And Zorro Ranch is 7,500 acres, but then right next to it is Tom Ford's old ranch that's 20,000 acres. Zorro Ranch was purchased, I think, from the government. I think all around there is government property. So I don't know the history with Tom Ford's ranch, but I mentioned this in my last video. It's been said on YouTube, social media platforms, that potentially the reason that they shut down that El Paso airspace, was that just a couple of days ago? It's so hard to keep up with the gaslighting. I didn't even finish my gaslighting thought. But the reason that they shut it down for those 3 hours or whatever they did, they said they were going to shut it down for 10 days because they were going to clear all the stuff out of Zorro Ranch. And then, you know, it wasn't going well, and they had to renege. Sorry, not to use that phrase. They had to rescind the, you know, freezing of the airspace. So the thing I started to say a few minutes ago about the gaslighting, and this is why it's so hard to try to ungaslight yourself, because you can't keep up. There's too much. Too much. You're trying to ungaslight yourself over here, and they're setting all these fires over here. So it's not that we're not smart enough to think of these things, like that maybe they did off her. It's that we're trying to keep up with all these other gaslightings, and so some will slip by us. Because I have that experience a lot where I think of something that I think is an epiphany, and I think this has got to be it. This has got to be right. And it's so obvious. And how did I not think of it? And how did everybody else not think of it? Are we all stupid or something? And no, none of us are stupid. We're all like trying to live our effing lives, and we're being manipulated. We're being played by these MFs. Right, Billy? They do need the info. She knows, then she's done. Oh, there you go, Billy. You're always a mile ahead of me. I love having you here. Thank you. You have a touch of pattern recognition skill that's innate. Nice. Aw, I call it my spidey sense. You know, some of it is because I was raised by a master manipulator. So I saw through his ways as a young person, and then as I got older, I continued to see more and more through his ways. I'm sure I'm still gaslit in some senses. There's probably still some lies that I believe that he told me as I was growing up that I didn't realize were lies. But I mean, when you're dealing with somebody like that, an absolute how can I speak? Malignant narcissist, there we go. You can pretty much assume that everything they say is a lie. They don't know how to tell the truth. They couldn't tell the truth if they tried. Part of it is that they have fun with it. They're so skilled at it, and they think it's hilarious that people believe them, whatever stupid crap falls out of their mouth, although people don't always believe them. But they get kicks. It's like for shits and giggles kind of thing, because they'll lie about stuff that really doesn't matter. And then you never know that lie that's really going to catch you up. And I think we might have a new lie, Billy. OMG, it's right here in Ohio. It's right in my backyard. I think Ohio is getting played again and again. And I don't know, this might just be a random crime, but there was a very sad tragedy a couple of days ago in Tip City, Ohio. A young mother and former teacher, and I think current volleyball coach, was red rummed in her home when she was asleep, and her husband was there and her 2 kids were there, and she was the only one red rummed. Make that make sense. I'm thinking it's probably going to turn out to be domestic violence, but it just so happens to be in Ohio. She just happens to be completely MAGA Christian, and so is the entire town of Tip City for the most part. So it's really like mid-America. like what Donnie thought Springfield was. Springfield is not mid-America. When he was trying to say, oh, Springfield was such a lovely, perfect town where, people had lovely, perfect lives, and then the Haitians came in and ruined it. What he didn't know is that Springfield has always had a really seedy experience connected to it. I mean, it's always been a rough town. There's parts of it that can be nice, but Tip City is what he was thinking when he was saying all that a year and a half ago. Let's see. Different eyes, chin, eyebrows. Maybe off at the switch. You have a touch of pattern recognition. Zorro owned by some GOP guy, by the way. Right. And it didn't sell for 4 years. I think that there was a massive price drop. I think it was maybe somewhere in the 20 millions of dollars was the asking price. And I think he purchased it for 12 million. But again, I don't think Little E bought Zorro Ranch. I'll have to look into it. I thought that too was purchased by Les Wex and then gifted to Little E. I could be wrong. Maybe Little E did buy it, because the story goes that when he was acquiring it, he was saying that was where he was going to have his baby farm. And I think that's the term that he used, was a baby farm, not where he's going to have his harem live as they incubate the babies, but baby farm, which is really creepy because really, he's been quoted as saying, I think it was in Virginia Gouffre's book, that a woman's body is pretty much all superfluous. It's just like the support system for the uterus. Completely disgusting. I should have given a trigger warning. I apologize for that. Self-gaslighting, cognitive dissonance. Right. And we all do the self-gaslighting too. It's, we need to stop doing that. And it's hard to catch yourself even. Now, we aren't stupid. We just human. Well, and like I said, we're busy trying to live our own lives. And, like myself, I do focus on trying to keep it simple, trying to weave your way out of all these conspiracy theories is a little complicated and a little annoying. And to keep it simple, you have to just say, screw all these conspiracy crap. Well, I'm just not going to even get involved. I'm not going to focus on it. Nothing. And I have moments like that when I just think, to hell with this whole YouTube thing, because I hate having my thoughts in the gutter with these monsters. But on the upshot, I really enjoy shining a light through the bullcrap. And I really enjoy having my channel. I mean, I do it sheerly out of selfish love of therapy. I mean, this is my therapy. I've confessed that to you a lot of times. I should rename it, huh? I've been thinking about rebranding, like having my yoga channel and having my political true crime therapy channel. Husband did it. Yeah, in the Tip City, it makes no sense that she's going to get offed and that the kids and him aren't. That absolutely makes zero sense. And yeah, I haven't had a chance to look into it much yet. It only just happened like 48 hours ago. She's 37 years old. She has 2 children. Like I said, she's a former teacher, and I think that she was a current volleyball coach. Let me close the door. The puppy dog just opened it. And did I bonk the thing? I did. Bonked it good, didn't I? All right. So what else? I'm on live. Another one of my mods. I don't think I texted her. I forgot to text her. So anyway, where are we? The blackmailing Jizz, blackmailing Donnie. Like, you don't play with fire, man. He's a very dangerous person. I mean, that's what his niece, Mary Trump, with her YouTube channel, is always trying to get across and underscore, is that her uncle is a very dangerous individual. And people need to know that. And people also need to know that there is no depth of depravity that he won't go to. There's no bottom. There's no bottom. And I still think he's behind Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. And I hope she's of the living, and I hope that she gets returned to her family one way or another. And wouldn't today be a perfect day for that? I mean, any day would be, but today being Ash Wednesday. And also as a super, super good, effective distraction from Les Wex. You know, we don't want him and his deposition getting any headlines for the news, but if they returned Nancy today, she could help with distracting from that. So hopefully they'll get my message, right? It's just so sad. From what you just told me, I think the husband did it. Yeah, I mean, I haven't delved into the case at all, just from looking at a few headlines. I mean, just from that simple fact, like, because at first I thought, well, she must have lived alone and been single. And then when I heard husband and kids, I thought, well, maybe they were getting a divorce or he did it, you know, if they were living separate. But maybe they were going to get a divorce and that's why he did it. I mean, that's usually why domestic violence perps do it, is because they don't want to get abandoned and they're triggered and they're stupid and they're sickening and they're controlling. G might have copies, I'm sure, in safe places for just in case. Yeah, absolutely. They're going to have to get all of them, right? No, the fact that I was dead wrong about the Trumpstein files, I couldn't be happier to be wrong in many situations, and that's one. So I've been proven wrong completely, 100%, and thank the good Lord. That information is so valuable to the survivors and the ones that haven't survived to get justice. And I do think that they're going to get justice. This is not going to go away and it's not going to stop. And especially the more other countries are stepping up and doing the right thing, despite Dear Leader, despite Bibi, despite Daddy Vladdy, despite all the billionaires, they're going to have no choice. I mean, we outnumber them like 1 billion to 1, right? And that brings another issue to mind, which is boycotting all of the billionaire supporting companies like Amazon. But Billy, I did purchase that last bottle. Where did it go? I had it a second ago. Where did I put it? It must have fallen. I had it. I wanted to spray more of it. I'm so addicted to that smell. Anyway, it's somewhere around here. I really want to spray it. I have trouble like giving up on things when, you know, it's kind of a curse and a gift. Like when I want something, I want it. And I'm like, okay, I'll quit looking for it. I'll look for it later. And then I'm like, no, where'd it go? I thought I had it when I was sitting down because I was spraying it. Anyway, I did order the last one on eBay, and then I'm going to try to get more back stock from World Market. And where the F did it go? It was here and now it's gone. Oh, there it is. Found it. It's in the crevices with my phone. And that is the wrong bottle. That's the grapefruit bottle that I also highly recommend. Hooray! Mine's coming any day now. So glad you got it, babe. Now, did you get it to try it, or you're talking about your favorite? Which one did you order? And yeah, that was so funny in the last live that half of it was about fragrances. China Rain, baby. China Rain. Now they saying Virginia lied. They so lame with their BS propaganda. Well, she even said that she lied sometimes because she would get her life threatened. And so she would try to take back what she said. Like when she made allegations that El Presidente raped her straight up when she was underage. Multiple times. So she took all that back with the phrase of, I don't remember him ever doing anything like that. And when someone says they don't remember, you can't prove that they remember, whether you know what happened or not. And she filed lawsuits and paperwork alleging the essays, and then she canceled those. And just like Ivana put it in her book that he raped her, and then she had to like do a tour as the book was already released. She had to go on to all these talk shows and undo it and say, that's not what I meant. I just meant that, it was kind of rough. It wasn't anything illegal. And yeah, we were married. And like Michael Cohen said, it's just not even possible if someone's married. That's not possible that they could. That's by definition, which is complete and utter bullcrap. Like that's some real misogyny right there. That is some real misogyny, because that's like what cavemen used to think, right? And even Michael Cohen has tried to pull back on that one and backpedal and say, oh, I was mistaken, I just didn't know. It's like, well, it's just a disgusting concept. Like, why would you even want to think like that? Why would you even want to think like that? Hooray, mine's coming. My fave is coming. I'm almost out, so I bagged some of it off eBay. LOL. Cool, that's so exciting. But the thing is, I don't know if eBay is owned by these people. YouTube is owned by these billionaire class. Amazon, Apple. I've been learning that the more of those things that we can cancel, we can make a giant impact, even though we're just little people. Sort of like the whole thing with Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, speaking of which, the whole thing with Stephen Colbert that's been going on the last couple of days, have you been paying attention to that, Billy darling? That is some serious crazy. Let me look at my notes, because I was going to try to not follow it, because you know how I am. I like to just stay focused on a couple of things, but I'm glad that I started to follow it. Tarico, is that how you say his name? Larico, I think he's running for the House of Representatives in Texas. And he's a Republican, right? Let me look. Tarico. So he was interviewed on Colbert, and then they were forced to not show it. And then they gave themselves the Streisand effect, because it's not something anybody would have really paid that much attention to. Let me see. Tarico. 36 years old. He's an American politician, Presbyterian, public school teacher, serving as a member of the Texas House of Representatives, a member of the Democratic Party. Oh, okay. I thought he was Republican. Taraco has been called a rising star among Texas Democrats. And let's see, the situation right now basically is that he's very, very religious, and his message to Americans is that it's very un-American, not only un-American to be mixing your religion and politics, it's actually like the antithesis of being a Christian to mix your religion and politics. Like, as Christians, you are supposed to love all your neighbors, regardless of what denomination they are or what nationality they are. And people are listening to him. People are getting through to him. So by canceling his interview with Stephen Colbert, it's on YouTube. You can watch it easily. I watched it. I think it's like 15 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, somewhere in there. I'll put a link to it in the description. But I was watching Heather Richardson Cox, or Heather Cox Richardson, talking about it. I think her video was like half of a day old. I was watching it today. And she said that, it already had 2 million views on YouTube. I just watched it today and it already had 5 million views. So let's see. I'm going to put that in right now. Into the description. Stephen Colbert interview with Taraco. So yeah, it looks like it's 15 minutes long. And there's clips of it that are like 5 minutes. But I want the whole thing. So I'll do the 15-minute one, do the copy, and then put it in my description real quick. So if you want to watch it, you can easily. You can find it easily. Although everybody knows how to Google, right? So yeah, people are trying to look for the motive of why anybody would have kidnapped Savannah Guthrie's mom. It's obviously not financial. Obviously not financial. So what else could it be? Retribution, right? Sorry, let me just finish my mission here. Edit, and then description, add description. I'm just going to add that link. Oh my God, it's like a mile long. But it's in there. I'll fix it later so that it's a shorter link. That's annoying. That's weird. So the link should be in there, but if it didn't work, I'll get it done later. So yeah, if it's not a financial motive behind the Nancy Guthrie abduction, sure, it could be a sexually motivated crime, but that there's no evidence of that. Fingers crossed. So it would probably be revenge. And who would want to get revenge on Savannah Guthrie? I doubt Matt Lauer would want to get revenge on her, although it is interesting to remember that Matt Lauer got fired from the Today Show. He was her co-host, and then it was discovered that he too was a sex pest, or worse. And, he was like another Harvey Weinstein. So how far did that go? Is he in those files? I wonder if anybody's Googled his name in the Trumpstein files. I doubt that he would have revenge on Savannah, because Savannah loved him and was very supportive of him and couldn't believe that he was that gross and despicable. It was hard for her to wrap her mind around that. And it is hard when you know somebody and it's not what you have ever experienced in their character. It is really hard. I'm sure we've all been in situations like that. And, you know, I think that, I mean, anybody's capable of anything, really, when it comes right down to it, just by definition of humanity. Even if we don't think we're capable of something, theoretically we are, given the right set of circumstances, basically, and desperation. And, you know, I mean, if somebody puts a gun to your head and says, you know, you will do this or else, usually your fight or flight will kick in and you will do whatever it takes to survive, even if you would rather them just take you out. I mean, it can get pretty complicated, but usually, yeah, if you're threatened, you'll do whatever it takes to get out of immediate harm. Or better yet, if they threaten your freaking kids or they threaten your freaking mother. And revenge is a huge motivator. Spite and cantankerism in the elderly, those are the things that keep old farts alive. The more cantankerous, the longer they last. The meaner they are, the longer they last. The more spiteful they are, the more revenge seeking, the longer they last. I think that's what we're seeing with this douchebag in chief, honestly. I saw the segment CBS pulled from Colbert, and it was fascinating and completely the Streisand effect, you know, where nobody that I know would have really been that interested in hearing from some representative from Texas, some young representative who's studying theology, talk about his campaign on Stephen Colbert. It probably would not have garnered anywhere close to as many views as it's already garnered. And it'll probably continue to go through the roof. I bet in a week it'll be 4 times what it is right now. Because really, word of mouth is always your best advertisement. Always, always, always. You can't get around that. Family was all cleared. I know, Billy, and thank you for bringing that up, because in my mind, in my heart, in my opinion, the family was always cleared. I mean, maybe for a millisecond, I thought, yeah, you know, of course you got to look at family. And, you know, when Ashley Banfield just went off the deep end, naming the brother-in-law and saying that she knew this from an inside source, it would be one thing for her to say, I suspect the brother-in-law, and this is why. But for her to say that she knew one of the people in the investigation and that they were effing leaking to her that he was the main suspect, like, she really should get charged with tampering, obstruction of justice, you know, tampering with the case, basically. What a whore. What a horrible person. I mean, already she was interested in dating little E after she knew what a sick freak he was. She's really gross. Like, I used to like her before Idaho 4. It was during the Idaho 4 thing that she just went downhill quick in my book. And now, like, she really should get charged for impeding the investigation, for obstructing justice, for just ruthlessly destroying his reputation, his life, slander, libel. Like, just kick her in the butt, man. She just needs to put a cork in it. Her and the Harvey Levine from TMZ, like, he's still making himself the center of the investigation. It's like all the freaking bad guys in Scooby-Doo. It's like Scammy in Kylie Rodney. And the crap that Biggly Piggly says is so crazy. It's so crazy. What are you saying, my dear? He showed the baby pic with the cowboy boots. That was really cute. Yeah, that's Talarico. That was like his proof that he was really born in Texas. And he's like not even 2 years old, maybe a year and a half, standing in a pair of cowboy boots all splayed because like the cowboy boots look like they're longer than his legs. It's really cute. I should use that for a thumbnail or something. Ew, she wants to date E. I know, she's so disgusting. She's so disgusting. So what else do I have in here? I think that's all from this notebook. And what time is it? It's just about 2:45. I got more in this notebook. Let's see. What about all of Mia Farrow's adopted children? Now that we know that Woody Allen isn't just as gross as Woody Allen, but he is maybe even grosser than Woody Allen. Hanging tight with his home fry, little E. Mia Farrow had 13 kids, and Rowan Farrow is one of them. And Rowan Farrow is an amazing investigative journalist who cracked the case with the whole Me Too movement. So what if Soon Yi isn't the only child of Mia's that Woody abused? And he was married to Mia when Soon Yi was her child, and Soon Yi is still her child, and therefore he's still her father, even though he's married to her. It's freaking effing gross. I think that Rowan is actually a biological child with probably Frank Sinatra. I think that that's what people believe, and maybe that's not like factual on record, but maybe it is. Let me look, see who is Rowan Farrow's father. Ray Ferrero, hockey player. No, maybe that's a different. Let's see. Who are Rowan Farrow's parents? It's like spelling his name wrong, so it's giving me trouble. So Woody Allen is his legal father. Frank Sinatra could possibly be his biological father, but Allen is legally and officially his. Well, he looks just like Woody Allen, right? Being sarcastic, of course. I mean, he looks a lot like his mom, but he also looks a heck of a lot like Frank Sinatra. But do Mia Farrow and let's see. How many biological children do Mia Farrow and Woody Allen have together? So it's just the one. And then they adopted 2 children together. Wait a second. I thought she had like 13. How many adopted children does Mia Farrow have? Because he's not going to attach himself to those, because that's how he wormed his way out of jail back during that trial. How many children adopted? 10 adopted children, along with 4 biological children, making a total of 14. That's a lot of kids. That's a lot of kids. And Angelina Jolie has a lot of adopted kids too. And now, knowing what we know, it just makes it sus, doesn't it? I mean, especially in Mia Farrow's situation. Absolutely. Let's see. Sounds like an incubator. Who sounds like an eater, big incubator? Oh, 13 kids, Mia. Right, but most of them are adopted. Yeah. Rowan is terribly good looking, so definitely not Woody. Oh, I know. He's a beautiful young man. He's absolutely gorgeous. And what a great investigative journalist he is. Is Mia Farrow in the that's a really good question, if she's in the files. I don't know. I love that question, though. That's a really good one. I mean, obviously, Soon Yi is in the files. Woody's in the files. OMG, Rowan's cheekbones, and he is clever, isn't he? And he's humble. He's very humble. Like, he doesn't care if he gets credit for, like, really breathing life into the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement had started way before he really cracked it wide open. I want to say it was the Harvey Weinstein stuff that he really cracked wide open, and that really made it snowball. Again, let me look at my phone. He was writing for Vanity Fair or something. Let's see. How did Rowan Farrow crack the Me Too case? Let's see. Yeah, I think it was Harvey Weinstein. Let's see. Yeah, his reporting on Harvey is widely credited with helping launch the global #MeToo movement and exposing a decades-long pattern of SA and professional silencing in Hollywood. The core reporting was New Yorker. Farrow published his initial bombshell investigation titled From Aggressive Overtures to SA on October 10th, 2017. The key evidence was in his report that included 13 accounts of harassment or assault, including 3 allegations of rape. It also highlighted an New York Police Department sting recording from 2015, in which Weinstein admitted to groping model Ambra Badalina Gutierrez, and he won a Pulitzer Prize in 2018. The New Yorker and the New York Times. And then he had a conflict with NBC News. He began the investigation while working for NBC News, but the network ultimately declined to air it. Yeah, screw these freaking mainstream media sources. They just need to stop. Like, they're not only causing the Streisand effect for themselves, but they're really like greasing the wheels to make themselves obsolete. They were already becoming obsolete. They're just going to make it happen that much faster. So for that, we can thank them. Asia Argento was one of the first Me Too against Harvey Weinstein. Alba Fiera played the HW character in Asia Argentino's movie Scarlet Diva. I'll have to write that down and check it out. So yeah, it's why is my thing not telling me how long we've been on? That's so bizarre. What's going on here? Usually I can look up and see exactly how many minutes we've been on. Does it tell you, Billy darling? I was going to say we've probably only been on for like 40 minutes, but it's getting close to 3 o'clock and I should probably wrap up at about 3 o'clock. I can tell you what time I started at when it was 2 o'clock. Yeah, because I think I was setting up my live at 1:59 and I just set it for 2 and I started it right off. So let's see. Yeah, it's funny. My daughter just sent me the thing about Stephen Colbert. Colbert says CBS pulled Senate candidate interview. He said he had to drop his interview with James Tarlarco from his Monday broadcast because new FCC guidance that targeted political interviews on late night shows. But yeah, it's like all the freaking rage. And I mean, even with people who, I think all of this bullcrap with trying to kill democracy and trying to shut down the Trumpstein files, it's really creating that whole Streisand effect of getting people interested in politics that would have never been interested in politics. And again, for that, we can thank them. But I was fearful of dear leader before he ever got into office the first time, just because I thought he was such a freaking buffoon and scumbag that I didn't think he could do anything except hurt our country, which I think he really did hurt our country in his first term, big time, bigly. And then J6 is a perfect example of that. And then when he got in the second time, I think by manipulating with Starlink, with Elon, with Russia, and blah, blah, blah. He's just completely been screwing everything up. But in his campaigning for this current term, when all he would talk about was World War III, and if you don't elect me, you're not going to have a country. It's like nobody effing talks like that. Nobody's constantly threatening with World War III, and nobody's threatening. The fact that he said you're not going to have a country instead of we're not going to have a country tells you everything you need to know about that MF. He's not in with the USA. If he was, his language would not be, you're not going to have a country. He would say, we're not going to have a country. It's as simple as that. Make it stop. Make him stop. It's now saying 50 minutes. Thanks, my dear. Oh my goodness. It just is too much. And it's like, I catch these things. Like I've caught that all along with the way he says, you're not going to have a country instead of we're not going to have a country. And I have not even thought about articulating it on my channel until recently. And then it's like, I haven't actually articulated it on my channel until today. And like, again, why does nobody point that out? It's like, we're so busy living our lives, taking care of ourselves, doing our jobs, paying attention to our family and our friends. We don't have time for this douchebag who wants to be the center of all of our attention because he's so greedy and narcissistic that he feels like he'll shrivel up and die if he's not monopolizing the headlines every effing day of the week, the month, the year, all of eternity. He's that effing crazy. It's all about him. I mean, even the quotes that he made early on in Nancy Guthrie's abduction, in her missing, the way he would say it. Did I write it down in this book, or which book did I write it in? The way his language. Oh, I think I screenshot it. Here, let me look and read it to you real quick out of a screenshot. It's going to make my face all white. One second. Screenshots. Here it is. This is the quote when he was on the airplane. The investigation is going very well, and definitive answers as to what has happened could be released in the coming days. This is what he said like almost 2 weeks ago. I think we're doing very well in that regard. You're probably surprised to hear that. I think we're doing very well. Very well, meaning we have some clues, I think, that are very strong, and I think we could have some answers coming up fairly soon. Those are his quotes about Nancy Guthrie's missing. It's all about him. And the way he overuses the word strong and strongly, and everything is strong and everything is strongly, is such an effing joke. He needs to just step down and step aside, and he never will. We're going to have to pry the presidency out of his cold D hands. I mean, he'll never relinquish the power by choice. I mean, he's relinquishing it every day with his stupidity. He's making it worse for himself. The more he digs his heels in, the more of these like emails about things like people eating their same species and children that didn't come to after being choked out while being graped, and then hiding the bodies at Zorro Ranch or somewhere. I mean, the more he keeps digging his heels in and being obstinate and defiant, the more information is surfacing, and he's too effing stupid to figure that out. He's too effing stupid to figure that out. And then I don't want to forget to mention that chick that just quit on him. What is her name? Watch this. This will be funny. The hot chick who just quit the Trump administration. It's going to tell me her name with that. The hot chick. Trisha McLaughlin. She's very pretty, except that she's a piece of crap. And she's got the weirdest eyebrows in the world. They're like completely straight and big and bushy like this. But then she makes like these angles of like darkness with like a pencil. Not like she's trying to reshape the eyebrows, because like if the eyebrow's like this, then the pencil mark is like that. Almost like an Egyptian eye, except not. It's crazy. Here, let me draw a picture of it for you. Here's her eyebrow. No, that's her eye. This is the eyebrow. And then this is the line that she draws. Okay, let me see that. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. So if I'm not trying to give you the FU finger. So if this is her right eye, this is her nose here, and there's like some kind of weird dark line that goes up to her eyebrow like that. Check it out. It's hilarious. It's like, if you really want to arch your eyebrows that bad, why not just arch your eyebrows with, you know, there's all kinds of eyebrow techniques that you can do to get the eyebrows you want. But I mean, she would be a very attractive woman, except that she's a freaking liar. Oh, and she's also in my backyard. Come to find out, she's from Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is so embarrassed about her. She is like the laughing stock. So she just quit because she's a big fat liar, and I guess maybe she got sick of lying. But yeah, she just up and quit. Trisha McLaughlin. I need to write that name down because I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot more about her. McLaughlin. She's kind of like a KKK Caroline Huckabee. Remember Huckabee, Sarah Huckabee? And Sean Spicer was in that position for a couple of weeks, maybe the first 6 weeks of the first administration. Kellyanne Conway, she reminds me a lot of Kellyanne Conway. But I mean, they just say the craziest things like, well, we just have alternative facts. What's wrong with our alternative facts? You got to open your mind to alternative facts. Yeah. Oddly, it's saying 50 minutes continuing. Oh no, did I get cut off or something? They are messing with the time again. She needs makeup artist, WTF. Well, that's a really good point, Billy. Like, is she doing that herself? Because that's what I thought, is that there's no makeup artist in the world that would do that, I guess, unless she ordered them to. But I would think any reasonable makeup artist would be like, no, I'm not putting my name attached to that look. Is still saying 50 minutes. That is so weird. Well, I've been saying things that shouldn't be said in this video, right? So it looks like we've been on for an hour though, because now it's 3:02. So yeah, we've probably been on for like 62 minutes. And we'll wind it down. There's so much I wanted to talk with you guys about. And Billy, thank you so much for being here. And I never want to hang up when you're here. I never want to hang up with any of my peeps. But yeah. Are there any parting words you want to say? I feel like there's a lot more that I wanted to say that I didn't get to, but save it for the next one. And I didn't get to make a live last night because I had stuff going on with my family, and the weather's been so nice. So I've been going out for these long, luxurious walks. And, you know, I try to do my yoga every day, my long, luxurious walk every day, my live every day, and all my chores and other stuff, #other stuff. And yeah, if I get to do all of those things, it's a perfect day. But if I get to do most of those things, I still think it's a perfect day. So yesterday I did do both the yoga and the long walk and all the chores and family stuff. So I did not get to my live. I was sad, but I'm happy to be on right now. Oh, it just refreshed and it says 62 minutes. Maybe I just need to refresh. I'm going to try to hit refresh while I'm on a live and see what happens. And it might kick me off the live. So I will act as if we know it's going to kick me off the live and wrap up and say thanks so much for being here and have a great rest of your day. Oh my goodness, we didn't talk about the avalanche in Truckee in Tahoe. 9 people missing. They had what, 30 inches of snow in Donner at Donner Pass. Avalanche, you didn't hear about it, Billy darling? Yeah, huge. Yeah, Truckee's in the news. And that's a lot of people to be missing. Let's see. Lake Tahoe avalanche. Oh, it's just tragic. It's absolutely tragic. 8 skiers found deceased. There might still be 1 missing. 6 were rescued. Here, 1 hour ago. Well, this can't be right because it says an hour ago. 8 are deceased. Okay, they still have 10 missing. Wait a second. This is from today at noon, and it says 8 backcountry skiers passed away. 1 remains missing after an avalanche in the Lake Tahoe area. Rescue mission is now a recovery mission because the missing skier is presumed deceased. That's a lot of people to pass in one avalanche. And yeah, a lot of times people can survive avalanches because they know how. I mean, everybody that lives there, like Sammy told us in the Kylie Rodney case, all the kids are trained on how to survive in an avalanche. I mean, I don't know how you do it, but basically you make yourself a little igloo. So you have to like push your snow out, make yourself a little igloo in that snow. A group of 15 skiers was in the Castle Peak area when the sheriff's office got a report of an avalanche around 10:30 on Tuesday. And this Shannon Moon. It says she said challenging weather conditions made it difficult for crews to reach the site of the avalanche. And then they arrived at the scene after 5:30 p.m. Oh my goodness, so 6 hours. Used a snowcat. Remember the picture, Kylie and the snowcat looking like a trapped orphan from Daddy Vladdy's land? They used a snowcat to travel 2 miles before skiing the rest of the way to avoid another avalanche. There they found 6 survivors, a Black Mountain Guides employee, 5 clients. The group made a makeshift shelter. What we know about the group of skiers. Yeah, it is Moon. It is Shannon Moon. Wow. The survivors were 4 men and 2 women, age ranges from 30 to 55. Of the survivors, 2 were too injured to walk and required assistance. Both were taken to the hospital. The other 9 skiers, 7 are female, 2 male. And it was the county's deadliest avalanche in 40 years. In 1981, 11 climbers were killed on Mount Rainier in Washington. See, that's before I moved there. I didn't move to Washington until 87. So I really am unaware of that. That's interesting. This is also the deadliest avalanche in California history after 7 people were killed in 82 at Alpine Meadows. Wow. And yeah, Alpine Meadows, I'm pretty sure that's part of Tahoe. Wow. It's so sad. What else? Avalanche warning had been issued hours prior. See, that just makes it even sadder. The warning was in effect from 4 a.m. on Wednesday. Well, wait, I thought it was today. Earlier in the day, today's Wednesday. I thought that it happened yesterday. Anyway, we were going to sign off. Devil coming for his wow. The deadliest since the early 80s. That is just nuts. That is just nuts. I mean, there's probably at least that many people every year that pass away in avalanches in Tahoe, but it's usually just like 1 or 2 at a time. I mean, it's usually like a small group of people that'll be caught up in an avalanche. I mean, because they're just, these people are so addicted to the skiing that they just can't stop themselves when it's perfect snow like that and 30 inches. They can't stop themselves. Like to them, it's just totally worth the risk. And of course, anything you do, there's risk, but skiing on loose snow like that, I'm glad I never got that addicted to skiing, because it is a really fun sport. It's like you're flying. And until I learned how to do it, I had no idea what I was missing out on. And then I hurt my knee really bad by wearing boots that were a little bit too big. And that kind of got me to just kind of get with it and get with the program and realize that the safety, to me, just isn't worth it. And that was even before I had children. It just wasn't worth it. I mean, my husband's really good. He can do like the double black diamonds. Not me. I like the bunny slopes because I still feel like I'm flying even down the bunny slopes. But no, I haven't done it since what, the 90s? The last time I might have skied was probably the early 2000s, probably right before I got pregnant with my youngest. Yeah. Skiing is silly. You're cute. Golf is silly. Ice skating is fun. Yeah, ice skating can be dangerous too. But then, like, let's quickly, before we wrap up, because we do need to wrap up, talking about that that domestic violence. It turns out that that ice skating hockey game, that the people were taken out. Where was that? It was in New Jersey. Was it New Jersey? But it turns out that it was an ex-husband who was going after his ex-wife, and then he took himself, and somebody else was deceased too, but just completely terrorized everybody. Domestic violence shooting at ice hockey high school game. But finding out that that was domestic violence, I'm telling you, so many crimes are. This mother effer's name is Robert Dorgan. Also went by Roberta Esposito. It was Rhode Island. That's right. It was Rhode Island. He was found deceased inside the Pawtucket Arena. Oh man, it was his ex-wife and his son. What an effing pig. What a disgusting pig. Oh, the son was an adult. What a bastard. 56-year-old suspect confronted by bystanders after opening fire on family members and a friend, and then drew a second gun and self-inflicted. What a bastard. This was on Tuesday, the day before yesterday. The other son was playing in the youth hockey game. And now he's got his father, his mother, and his brother all taken out in the blink of an eye. It was their senior night. OMG. That's just insult to injury. Rhonda Dorgan was the ex-wife. Aiden Dorgan, sorry, I said Dorgan. It's Dorgan, Dorgan. Aiden Dorgan was the son. Rhonda passed away at the scene. Aiden passed after he was rushed to the hospital. 3 other people, Rhonda's mother and father and a family friend, were all shot and wounded and were in critical care Tuesday. What an effing bastard. Oh my goodness. I am so sad for that family. I hope those 3 pull through, especially for the son that was playing in his senior night hockey event. What a sick MF. That is just unbelievable. One sec. Hey, what's up? I'm just wrapping up. I'm still on live. I don't think so. I'll call you back. Okay. I'll check it out. Thank you. Love you. Okay, that was one of my mods. She said that they found Nancy Guthrie and that she's not alive. Is this actual or is this, do you guys know? Was Nancy Guthrie just found? No, I don't think so. Um, I think that's fake news. I think that's fake news. I did text Anna Bees last night that and another mod that I just had this weird irrational belief come to my mind yesterday that she would be found today. There it wasn't like based on anything. Well, I guess it's kind of based on the fact that she's been missing for 2 weeks and what she's been missing for 18 days, I think, essentially 17 days. And I don't know. There's a lot of questions, and I just I think that you know who I think is behind it, and I think that, like I said, if they were to find her today, it would be a perfect distraction from the Trumpstein files and from Leslie Wexner. So I think that was like the main thing, both the duration that of time that she's already been missing and the Wexner and Ash Wednesday. I don't know. It's not on news. Yeah, it would be on news, right? Water skiing is silly. I've tried that. Um, I'm just lazy, Jazz, with sports. Well, ice skating's not lazy and it is fun. But yeah, water skiing I can't do. I've tried to surf a million times. Can't do that. I like boogie boarding. Poor kid. I don't know. It's not on news. Yeah, I'm going to sign off. Gotta go. Gotta run. Thanks so much for being here. And I am going to hit refresh to see if that pulls up the time thing because it's still not up. That's so bizarre. So thanks for watching. Drink your water and sending you lots of love. Refresh. It says reload site changes may not be saved. I'm going to hit